when the house is on fire. Why are we smiling when the house is on fire? So yesterday we were at our hands-off protest because if we were in the United States, we would have stayed our Black behinds at home. But we are in Lisbon, Portugal.
So we ain't worried about getting shot or
we don't have to worry about that stuff. We don't have to worry about being unsafe. And we wanted to make sure that we were present to show our solidarity to our home country and to hell, our family is there, right?
Yes.
Our investments are there, and we are 100% against what the Melon Felon is doing. And so I thought it was important for us to be there. We live streamed it on our Instagram channel, so you can go see that over there after this, right? But I'm so proud of our Black brothers and sisters in America because they understood the assignment. And by and large, they stayed home. And we noticed, did you see in any of the news things, any like police in riot gear?
Oh, no. Because there wasn't a threat to them. There wasn't a threat.
Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? And then I hear through the grapevine, look, I ain't got facts to back this up, but
I can neither confirm or deny.
Right. As MAGA folks like to say, look, what I have heard is that they are thinking about limiting passports or slowing it down to force Americans to vacation in America because everybody else has said, don't go to America. Like here in Europe, there's travel advisories not to go to Europe. Or if you have to go, to make sure that you have all of your paperwork in order. And oh, by the way, if you've ever said anything negative about the Trump regime, not administration, then you might not want to go. That's what they're saying over here.
But we had said something about that earlier on.
We did. Yeah, we did.
Months and months ago, we said, get your passport if you don't have it because things are going to start slowing down. They might not say you can't have your passport, but they can make it harder for you to get your passport by either eliminating staff,
which they've already done.
Right? Or limiting how many passports they will give out per year.
Exactly. And at the same time, there are countries making it more difficult to immigrate to them, whether you want to do that as a digital nomad, whether you want to do that not to vacation, or whether you want to do that as a retirement situation, or maybe you're going to be a remote worker. Like countries are making it more difficult. Case in point, back like 10 days ago, Mexico just took away a big chunk of one of the easiest ways to get residency in Mexico, which leads us to our guest. Okay, I am so grateful that Rick and I got permanent residency in Mexico 3 years ago. And so we don't have to worry about it. But they had a special program and basically it hasn't been 100% eliminated, but 80% to 70 to 80% of the people who might have qualified will no longer qualify. Not only that, the folks who are wanting to get citizenship in other countries based upon their history, right? Based upon their ancestors, whether it be any place in Europe, Western Europe, I'm going to say, because I haven't really checked Eastern Europe. I'm just going to be honest. They are tightening down too. First, we had a bunch of countries that we told you about just 2 to 3 weeks ago where you could get citizenship based upon if you had a great grandparent or a grandparent from a European country. Great grandparents no longer valid. Grandparents seem to still be okay.
Right.
All right. But great grandparents off the books. For Ireland was one of the ones, right? And they have great tax scheme. So there is a fierce urgency of now.
And something I thought I'd never hear myself saying, land of the free ain't as free as it used to be, y'all. And
no.
it's tightening up a whole lot more. Every day we speak, it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter to make moves to get out. That's why we say, go on and get your residency in another place.
Right. Today, now.
Today.
Like, seriously. Seriously. You saw that they're making people disappear, right? Right now, it is folks who probably identify as Muslim. That's today. That's what they're starting with, because they think that all of us are against the Muslims, right? They forget that there's a huge chunk of African Americans who are also Muslim. That's what they forget, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about moving to Mexico. We are going to talk about what our ancestors are saying, because I think it is very interesting. I think it is very interesting that everybody got the memo, whether it was in your heart, whether it was in your soul, maybe you don't realize, but our ancestors were talking. And what they say is, stay home. This is not your fight. That's what they said.
So before we get into all that, we probably should introduce ourselves for those that don't know who we are.
Hey, y'all. My name's Halisi.
And I'm Rick. Welcome to our Black Utopia.
On our channel, we talk about money. We talk about travel and retiring abroad. We help folks who look like us, who are getting close to retirement age and forgot to plan, get their money straight so that they can retire on time, or maybe even abroad.
Abroad is very good right now.
Abroad is a good.
It looks damn good. Damn good.
All right, sweetheart. So what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about Black people are resting in Mexico.
Yes. Y'all, do not sleep Mexico. No. Do not sleep it. You know, we have allowed propaganda and the media to frame our understanding and outlook on what the safety is, right? And the welcoming stance is in other countries, right? And we have made a lot of assumptions based upon white folks' fears. Don't do that. Don't do that, right?
No, don't.
Exactly. So, but first, look, if you're new to our channel, then you might not know. Back in 2018, Rick and I got a wake-up call. We were getting close to retirement age. And we looked at our money, y'all. It looked
crazy. Insane, crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say, crazy.
Yeah. I knew, I read your mind. Crazy.
But we got our financial act together and we went from negative 22,000. I don't know if we're at 1.1, $1.5 million today, but we did that about 3 years ago. With the stock market doing what the stock market has done, I have no idea what our net worth is today. But one thing that I do know is that if you want financial independence, there is a way to do it without huge sacrifices, but you will have to sacrifice. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, if you want to go, right, from paycheck to paycheck to financial independence, if you want to live abroad, if you like to travel internationally, subscribe. We are trying to get to 100,000 subscribers because we believe that the message that we are sending is so important in this time for our people, right? What we started with, the fierce urgency of now, from the late, great Martin Luther King. All right. And with that, we're going to bring on our guest. Hey, Tia.
Hey, Tia.
How are you?
Hey.
Good to see you. Let me put in my earphones because, girl, I can't hear you.
You know, everybody is talking about this, the meme that came across where the ancestors are saying, sit your black ass down. And that is so for real. It is true. And that's what they're telling us to do.
Exactly. And I think that it is, first of all, I'm just so, I feel like this is kind of a turning point, right?
Yeah.
This moment in time, y'all, is a turning point. And it is really a turning point for us as a community, because they no longer can say that Barack Obama erased racism, right?
No,
Like
he didn't.
they no longer can hide behind the niceties that they used to do because it's
Right.
all out there, right?
Right.
We doing Nazi salutes, we got the
Right.
KKK and everybody marching with guns and stuff and show like
Oh
right,
yeah.
right.
Oh yeah. With their
So
chest out too.
chest poked out. So I
Out.
think, right? I think the power structure and the majority who have denied what we knew to be true. Some of those who call themselves, I'm gonna say, woke,
No.
now finally realize that they weren't as woke as they thought they were.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Right. And so, folks, if this is the kind of content that you want, hit that like button. Smash that like button. Let the algorithm know that this is information that needs to be sent out to our community. All right.
Share this video.
Yeah, and share it. Share it with friends and family, y'all. All right, Tia. So we introduced you, but why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, hello, everybody. And I know a couple of people in the chat. We did the 5-week hustle challenge. And that was, I mean, I have to say, I appreciate everything that I learned on this challenge, you guys. If you can do it, do it. It's worth it. I don't know how long they're going to offer it at this price. It's a steal. So y'all better jump on it the next time they do it. But
yesterday's price is not tomorrow's price, but thank you.
I don't know, but it was life-changing for me. I have to say, they teased it out of me what I needed to be doing, and the ancestors kicked my ass too, because they were closing doors on me and pushing me into this direction. So I have to say thanks for being the light and the waymakers, Rick and Halisi. You guys are awesome. I adore you.
Thank you for entrusting us.
Thank you.
Yes, I thank you so much.
Don't be making me cry in the first
It was life-changing for me. It really was. It made me kind of be like, I can believe in what I'm doing and in myself. So I really appreciate that. And you guys are way makers. When you know, at church when they say he's a way maker, they some way makers. I'm just saying. But anyway,
you know what? That you said that. We're gonna say hello to the folks in the chat, but let's just go back because you said you know how in church they say.
Yeah.
Now, how would you know about that, Tia?
Well, since you asked, I was a former first lady of a big church in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And so I know a thing about spirituality, a thing or two. I know a little bit. And I was raised in a church. So I'm very deep into spirituality. But I, of course, didn't have time to go through my spiritual growth because I was 9 to 5 and I was working, I was hustling. I didn't have time for God. So God made me make time for him. So bam, there you have it. Yeah. Towers started falling down and things started happening. It was like, this is what you're going to do. We're putting some blocks up for you. So this is where you're headed, sis. And yeah, I had no choice in the matter.
Yeah, it is interesting because sometimes we make choices, and if one more person says, "Well, God said to me," it's like, well, if you don't stop lying on God.
Yeah, right.
I remember this woman. We go get into the stuff, but I gotta say this. I remember this woman who was at the church that I used to belong to, and she was in leadership and paid leadership. Maybe I can't remember. But yeah, she was paid leadership. There is a difference. Uh-huh. I think paid leadership, and it was Obama's second term election cycle. And she said, God told me, liar, not to vote for him because if he wins a second term, they're going to assassinate him. God didn't tell you shit.
No, he didn't.
Stop lying on God.
Because he would have told me too.
A and B and C, brother man's still alive last time I checked.
And doing very well.
And doing well, right. Right. Stop lying on God, y'all. Stop lying on God.
Exactly.
But anyway.
Yeah, that's because they want something to prove what they say to others, that they got the backing of power, when you have your own damn power. Okay, you
That's number
stand
one.
10 times, you stand 10 toes down on your own power. If that's what you
That's
gotta say, you say what you say, right?
That's right.
So yeah, when people use God, I'll be like, well, he didn't tell me, so I'll wait until he tells me.
Especially if it's something that's going to happen to the world, not just to you,
Exactly.
right? But
Exactly.
you're going to say, the world's going to do this, the world's going to do that. So that's
Exactly.
going to affect me. And
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah.
So you've introduced yourself. Let's say hello to the folks in the chat really, really fast. Because we got Allison, who was the first one in. Hey, Allison.
Hey,
Good
Allison.
to see you. CK, of course.
CK.
See you in Portugal at the June meetup. Hey, y'all, who's coming to the meetup? Let us know. If you are watching from the future, hey. If you're on Facebook or LinkedIn, hey. Let us know if you're coming to Portugal in June for our meetup.
June 16th and 17th.
June 16th and 17th. There should be a Juneteenth celebration. There's going to be St. Anthony celebrations. We got a lot of stuff going on here in Portugal, and we are going to have a ball. If you can come, y'all, you got to come. Right, CK, you gotta come. Hey, Greta, thank you so much. We got Winnie is in the house, Shanora, and Bobby. Bobby should be here soon.
Hey, Bobby.
Rider Skater, Karen Louise. Good to see you from SoCal.
Good to see you.
Thank God you're in California, girl. Thank God you're in California, because some of these places, woo, woo.
VJ.
Hey fam, hey y'all. If rest is needed in your future, hit the like button as you come in. Let me tell you, Action VJ was in the challenge as well.
Yeah.
He was in the challenge as well.
Oh, he did it.
He did. And so we're looking for the launch, Action VJ. We're looking for the official launch, because Brother Man has it going on and he has a natural ability to market, which some people have to learn. Hey, Greta Cobb is in the house. Peggy, we've got avocado queen.
Hola.
I just made some avocado dressing. That's why I'm laughing. Hey, Vanessa, good to see you. Badia is in the house. The ABX girl, Meriton Martine, Tanya Brooks, self-care and support for caregivers. I love it. I love it. I love it. And y'all, with what they are doing, with what they are trying to do to medicate.
Yes.
My parents right now are in the lovely position that they are in assisted living because of Medicaid.
Mm-hmm.
Their caregiver is taking them on a cruise. Right? But if they take Medicaid away, my parents will be homeless and I'll have to bring them here or something. I don't know.
You and a whole bunch of other people.
Yeah.
Right?
And I'm telling you, this will not go down. This can't go down like that. And I don't think we will stand for it, period. This place will burn down.
I think so. See, because what the oligarchs don't understand is that their base tends not to be as wealthy as the other side.
No, they're not.
The majority of them tend to be on safety net programs.
A majority of them, yeah. But they think that we don't deserve to be on them, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Tanya, Valerina, Jametta. Once they started allowing Black folks to be on welfare or aid to families with dependent children, AFDC, or SNAP, the food stamps, what we know as food stamps, and all of those other things. All of a sudden, those programs were horrible. They were horrible because Black folks are lazy.
Hey, Marcus.
Let's see how that works out for you. Hey, Marcus. Good to see you in the chat. Hey, Vicky.
We are the hardest working people in this world.
Tell it. Hey, Venus, right? We certainly are. Most Black folks I know have always had 2-3 jobs, man. And if
But you
they
know
didn't have
what?
two tree job because they didn't have to, then they had another job which was called volunteering. My
Right.
mom was always involved in some kind of volunteering, raising money for scholarships for kids and all of this stuff my whole entire life.
Yeah, we're always into service. Our people have always been in service.
Mm-hmm.
That's how
Exactly.
that's our ancestral line. We have
Exactly.
always been in community and in service to others. We love one another. That's why we're Africa is the soul of the world. Period.
Exactly.
We
Exactly.
everything that we are, we're soul. It's soul food, soul train. Everything about us is soul.
Yes.
So you take the soul away, what do you have? Right? And
Nada.
so,
Nada.
and yeah, they know what we are, and we could sit down for 200 years if we want to and do nothing,
Right.
and we paid the price.
We've already banked
We've
our
already paid.
credits. We really have, and it's
Yeah,
lovely to have the moral high ground. You know,
right,
it's the
right.
sad part about it is that we as folks from the diaspora, those of us who are, because I know some folks who call themselves Black say that they are 100% from North America, and that's
Mhm.
fine. But I feel like we know that the world comes from Africa.
Yeah, they
And
know.
so these folks are acting like the children who have abandonment issues, right?
Yes,
And they're pissed off at their moms and
yes,
dads, and they
yes,
just can't let it go, right? Like
yeah,
we're the narcissists, right? Like we're the
right,
abusers. Y'all left, and they're acting as if they want to go no contact.
right. But they wouldn't be able to survive without us.
No.
That's why I'm like, let us rest.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Let's see what happens when we actually pull back and don't give our energy and see
exactly.
what happens. They will
That part.
deflate. They will not know what to do.
Right.
That part.
Right.
They don't know what to do without Black people. They really don't.
Mm.
They want
No,
to be
no.
us, but they don't like us. So it's very interesting.
Isn't it interesting? It kind of feels like when I was a teenager. Hey, Nicole,
Hey,
thank you for
Nicole.
last week.
Yes, thank you for being
Y'all.
on last week.
So if you haven't checked out last week's, stay tuned. Like after this, then you can go back and watch last week's. You remember when you were a kid and it's like you were pissed off at your parents for something, just for something,
Mhm.
whatever. They didn't let you go to the dance. They didn't,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then you walk around with an attitude and you're like, I ain't never gonna be like them. I ain't never
Yep.
gonna be like that. That
Mhm.
but deep
Yeah.
down inside, it's like, but you love us, don't you?
Yes, you
You
do.
just right, you just can't help it. And that's the conundrum. They are in a constant state of
Yeah.
cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of envy.
And
Mhm.
right, envy that they don't even realize.
Yeah.
And in some ways, it's heartbreaking because their inability to look inward is effing up the planet.
Right. I mean, if you think about it, they cut off their nose to spite their face. The people that voted him in, you hurt yourself. You didn't. I mean, you're stupid. Like, what is wrong with you? Like,
Right?
you hate a Black woman that much, and you are scared of the woman's leadership abilities and capability. You're that. I mean, you just, I don't, it made me try to
We're
finish it off. Like,
we're assuming that thought process even went through their heads.
right, but
We're
no,
assuming that
I
they
guess
said,
not. That's intellectual, though. I mean, I
you
get that.
know, cheap eggs, white guy.
Right.
Cheap eggs, white guy. White guy. Right? No, they didn't think about that.
No, they didn't.
About that.
And that's the most disturbing thing. Like,
Yes.
you didn't understand that Obamacare was the Affordable Care
Yeah.
Act.
Yeah.
Like, it just boggles my mind, the stupidity of this country. I'm embarrassed. I truly am embarrassed. Like when I walk around or if I go anywhere outside of the US, I'm apologizing. Like, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. We're that arrogant and that stupid.
And that's the sad thing. People throughout the world knew what Obamacare was and the Affordable Care Act was more than Americans did. And would say to you,
I never heard
wait
that.
a minute, they didn't like Obamacare and they wanted the Affordable Care Act, but they didn't realize it was the same thing. It's like, yeah, welcome to America.
Yeah. The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America. If y'all haven't read that book, you need to read it. So I read that book. I read that, and it's written by a former Department of Education, the secretary for the Department of Education under Bush 1.
Okay.
Under Bush 1. So this was a Republican lady who wrote this book, y'all. And if she's saying that there is a deliberate dumbing down of America, like, right, then it must be even worse than that, right? Like, it's probably even worse than that, right? Yeah, it's probably even worse than that. So, all right, y'all know the drill. You're going to put a Q in front of your questions, but you said something. We started off talking about, First Lady and ancestors. So before we get to the fact that you live in Mexico the majority of the time,
yep,
let's talk about what the ancestors have been telling you, because some people can call it Holy Spirit, some people can call it intuition, but I really truly do believe, I know that energy never dies. That's a scientific fact. And if souls are energy, then they are perpetual.
Yes. And we have been here multiple times, more than multiple times.
I know. Isn't that
more than enough? And that's why we're tired. That's why we're tired. And our ancestors are starting to awaken, go through the awakening process where we're starting to remember who we are. And they want us to start healing ourselves and lay down the burden of trying to carry the weight of everyone else. And it's time for us to start focusing on ourselves and healing ourselves and healing our community and healing, our loved ones. And we have ancestral trauma within our DNA. And that is a different type of trauma. This is not your trauma that, you saw something happen in front of you or whatever. And this is the kind of brutality that's in our DNA that you can't even imagine. And when you're dealing with people that would use babies as gator bait, we got a problem.
Right.
That means that they don't see us as human beings. And you can never try to come across to a person like that and convince them otherwise. You can't. You cannot convince them. And that's why our ancestors are like, no. Don't waste your energy. Don't waste your energy. The people that did this need to fix the problem, not you.
That part.
They're the ones who did this. So unfortunately, we're dealing with some idiots and some fools that need to experience this themselves.
The pain.
They didn't listen to us, so they have to experience it. Yeah. And unfortunately, those of us that are here have to experience it as well.
Unfortunately, but we cannot support a system that seeks to perpetually oppress us. It's interesting because when I was in 6th grade, I came up with this theory. I don't know how or where, because at this point, I was like a Creaster, right? Christmas and Easter Christian.
So many of us are. Mother's Day.
Right? Exactly. Maybe. When's our brunch reservation? That's not interesting. And so, I remember thinking, because you said we've been here before.
Mm-hmm.
And I had come up with a philosophy that was like, we have to keep coming back here until we learn what God wants us to learn.
Yes. Yes. You
Okay.
ascend.
This is at
Yeah.
11 years old. I came up with this, and I've never forgotten it because I wrote it down and I put it in a poem or something that I had to write for school.
Yeah.
And she probably thought I was a heathen, and then reincarnation, witchcraft, and all this other nonsense. I don't know. I got a decent grade, I'm sure, but that stuck with me because that's what it feels like. Like we have to, if we do not ourselves continue to grow and evolve, then we have to come back and learn more lessons, which is just depressing as hell.
Well, this time around, fortunately, we are paying our karmic debt. The way this goes, and that's why a lot of us are in this phase of awakening right now. Like you guys, you are a vessel. You have been used to do what you're doing and create this platform in this digital space to push our people forward. Stephanie Perry, Rashida Dow, Adelia, all of these women, and God tends to use women because I'm sorry, fellas, we are a little bit more spiritual because we give birth. Okay, we have to be connected to the soul a little bit different because we have to nurture, a living soul within us. But we have to understand what is happening right now. There is a huge movement, and if you pay attention, everybody has their role. Everybody is doing different things, but we're all connected, right? And so we're like a fine-tuned machine, and we're cranking it up, but soon it's gonna be like, and what we're doing is healing. We're healing each other through this process right here. We're coming into community, but in a different way. And the healing starts with ourselves first. We have to start healing ourselves and dealing with the childhood conditioning that we experience growing up. And the gaslighting that we've experienced as Black people. It's unreal. The gaslighting that we experience is just, and it's emotional warfare that we're going through right now.
Yeah.
So it's very important that we understand that we have to start the healing with ourselves. We can't heal this country. It's too far gone. That's why our ancestors are like, sit your Black ass down.
Sit your Black ass down.
You got work to do. I want to talk to the person who did that because that is exactly what I heard. My spirit guide said, listen, sis, you need to focus on yourself. Heal yourself and then heal your community. Heal the people around you. And then you can move accordingly. We want you to remember us. We want you to teach our children about us and the history of us. But we don't want you to live and experience, go back to that history and live in that history ever again. We gave y'all the choice. We gave you we pushed you forward so you can be in a space where you can choose. And that's that's where we are right now. You have choice. You can get up and get out of here. You don't have to stay here. Why the hell you want to stay here? You don't have to. This is not your place.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
We are global citizens. This is not. This place does not belong to anybody. We will, in 100 years, I guarantee you, the borders will be gone because people will have enough of all this border crap. Like what? You can go anywhere you want to in this world. Who says who own what? Really?
Well, that sounds like a new world order with one currency. And does that mean Jesus Christ is coming back at that time? Oh, yeah. I done
I
watched
plan on
all
not
them
coming back.
movies and read all them books, you know.
I plan on not coming back here, so I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm ascending out of here. I'm done. I'm doing my work and I'm gone.
Right.
But
And the other part of that is that, you know, speaking of money, the richest continent, of course, is Africa.
Oh,
Not
absolutely.
monetarily, but as far as the resources,
mineral resources,
right? The mineral resources, et cetera. Maybe secondly, South America. And they are going to need us. They're going to need they're going to need a community who fought their way out, right? Because they fought their way out, but they are still, as I am doing more research, still so under the thumb of their former colonizers and the raping that is allowed because they wanted their freedom so desperately. And so they're going to need us, maybe not this generation yet, right?
Yeah.
But definitely the ones just younger than us. Y'all, it's happening now, right? We talked about BRICS. It's happening now. And so 10 years from now, 15 years from now, there's maybe not even that long, the way things are going.
About 20.
There's going to be a flip. And we're going to need to be healed and in a position, number one, not to go and try to act like we know everything, but to go and support and be welcomed back home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
they want us. They absolutely want our skills. They want our intelligence. They know. They're like, our people can come here and build. And we can do it. We can do it ourselves. But
Yes,
this country will never allow us to here. They will never allow us to here. They already shown that they will never let us have our own here. They will burn our stuff down. They will try to
bomb it.
Put a freeway.
Put a lake on the freeway. Put a lake over it. Do you know how many rich Black communities are now buried under a lake?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. God have mercy.
This is how they do. This is how they do. So when we get what are they called? Foundational Black Americans, FBAs or whatever, in our comments, babies.
Yeah.
Why are you holding on and supporting a system that hates you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
they will
let's
never
talk, right?
They will never. Let me tell you why, because I know this. I've been raised and grew up with white people almost my entire life. And there's always this competition. There's no sisterhood. Trust me when I say they don't know nothing about being a sister. They don't believe in my brother's keeper, my sister's keeper, none of that. So,
but claim to be Christian.
Very much so, but only when it's needed. So I know how they think and I know how they move. So where I worked, I was the only Black woman and in a higher position. And the passive aggressiveness that I experience on a daily basis, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. I just threw my hands up because Becky felt like she can do it better than me. Let Becky do it. I'm still getting paid. That's how I was like, let it go. I was tired of like saying that's my job. That's okay. You go ahead, girl. I'm getting
go for it, boo. You do you.
Steal my ideas, take my ideas as theirs. I mean, it's always this, underlying envy and hate. So I let it go and I made a plan and I got out.
Right. Or they are dismissive.
Oh,
very. Right?
Yeah.
Dismissive. Hey, neighbor.
I don't know you until I need something. I don't know you until I need something. I'm going to walk right past you. They don't even know your name. And then all of a sudden it's like Tia. And I'm like, oh, you know me?
Oh. Because all I heard was, hey. Oh, but now you know my name. not
Oh,
hey
okay.
you, or
Yeah.
where's that report? it,
Right.
it was due 30 seconds ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Boy, they
Okay,
busy in the
Charles.
chat. We must
They
have
are busy
said
in the
something.
chat. Okay, Charles, you're
We
going to have
must
to
have
call
said
us and
something.
tell us what's going on. Okay, but not right now because it is 9 o'clock at night here in Lisbon, Portugal. But we need to talk to you in the next 24 hours or so and see what's and check in with you. But yeah, so folks are funny. Okay, so Mexico.
Yes.
What made you want to go to Mexico?
Well,
What inspired you?
first of all, I took 9 years of Spanish in my life.
Okay.
I started in 6th grade and went through high school and then took it in college. And I got to a point where I was like, I need to use this, and never did. Don't use it, you lose it. But that was a dream of mine to always go to Spain or go to Mexico or go to Latin America and use it. But never, ever did I think in a million years that I could do it.
Right? It was a dream. And somehow or another, maybe it can come true. Y'all, living and moving abroad does not have to be a dream, nor do you have to be rich Tina Turner or any of the other, Baldwin. You don't have to be famous to
That's
do
what I
this
thought.
thing.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
You do not. And especially today. Why? Because we have technology, because you can literally work from anywhere and you can, make American wages. Although as the American dollar goes down, I just saw 10% of our wealth just disappear overnight because the melon felon. And that doesn't even include the 401k. That's cash. That's just cash.
That's the gotcha there, because they are doing a serious money grab. It's an asset grab. So they want to squeeze us out so that we don't have the money to grab it when it's available. So like when your stocks plunge like that, well, do you have money? Probably not, right? Not your everyday person.
Everybody watching our Black Utopia should have that money so you can buy stocks on sale. It's on sale.
But
the market's on sale, y'all.
Not your everyday Joe. They ain't on the OBU. Right? Not your everyday. So they're not, and they're not in a space to take advantage of it. So who's going to take advantage of it?
Exactly. Well, we are.
They squeeze us out.
We are. And everybody in Beyond the Bling better be.
That's because you've been preparing. Yeah,
right?
you've been preparing and seeing. That's the difference between preparation. We have been consumers, and we have been taught and conditioned to consume. We are to work to consume. That's how this nation has been able to do what it's been doing. You work, and you don't have the time for your life. You don't have no time. Where you going to grow and heal and take care of your kids and know where your kids at, know what they doing? You working.
Yeah. I remember thinking like, will I ever get to see Europe?
No, not in that 1 week they give you, or 2 weeks they give you a year.
2 weeks, yeah.
We'll say, and I never put up with that stuff. Look, I was that person. So I've had 3 weeks plus since the early 2000s. Even though I never made 6 figures, even though I never had, I've had 6-figure titles, as y'all have heard, right? But not the 6-figure money. Look, one thing I can negotiate, if you can't pay me anymore, you can give me an extra week off. That's what you can do.
Right, Halisi? But see, me and you are reverse. They gave me the money, but didn't want to give me the title.
Yeah, because sometimes they'll give you the time off and then don't let you take it. We too busy right now. Oh, we too busy right now. We too busy right now. Right? It's like
it's always I always had a project coming up, and I had 2 trauma hospitals that I was taking care of, and the other third outpatient hospital. So I was in anesthesia, and we were 24/7 in Chicago. You 24/7. When are you sitting down? You got projects to happen. You got inspections happening. Vacation when? And when you did go on vacation, you better have your laptop with you and your phone and your pager.
And it seems like the first time we went to Europe, didn't you have your computer with you and you had to do like payroll or something, or scheduling and all of that?
I sure did.
There was no one else in the whole place that could do it.
Because they couldn't do it because they made sure that they didn't give him the staff that would be able to do it. Why should we do that when Rick's such a hard worker? He's got 2, 3, 4 hats on for the same pay. Let's let him continue wearing them 2, 3, 4 hats. And then they got to replace him with 2 or 3 people. And every single job that I have left, I have been replaced, if there was a replacement, with more than one person.
Me too.
Y'all.
Me too.
So what was the thing? What was the thing that said it's time to go?
Well, my soul had a whiplash moment right after Obama left office and Trump took over. I had a shooketh moment. It was like, is this a response to Obama? Like, what is this hate going on? And I thought we got past it. Like after a while, you kind of, it's underground, but it started rearing its head. And I'm like, it started showing up at my job, and I was getting a little bit more, angst. And,
they got emboldened.
Sabotaging. And I was like, oh, you want to sabotage me and give me half of the information I need to do my job? And wait a minute, like things were starting to unfold for me. And it was like, okay, this is not the space for me. It's hurting me. And then I went to my doctor, and I did a whole panel workup because my body was on the fritz. I was like, my nervous system was going crazy. COVID hit and anesthesia was frontline. We were there in all of the muck, and I thought I was going to die. I didn't know what was going on. So my nervous system was really bad. And went to the doctor, and she asked me, how long do I want to live? And
are you effing kidding me?
No, she asked me, she looked at me and said, Tia, this last year, you were going through the same thing. I put you on medication. We did all the stuff that you needed to do. I, put you in therapy. Something has to give. Like, you have to do something. How long do you want to live? Your cholesterol is high. You're pre-diabetic. You have high blood pressure. You're overweight. Matter of fact, by the way, guys, I lost 65 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So I made the decision then and there, I got to get out and I have to do something. So I started researching, and when you get down in the weeds of the YouTube and you like typing away and you watching people, that damn Stephanie Perry showed up.
The one who does as little as possible. That's Stephanie Perry.
The tagline that I stole when people ask me, what do? I said, as little as possible. And so that dang blasted chick got me. I started watching, like binge watching her, like binge. And I was too late to do that summit that year. It was 2022. It was too late for me to do that summit. It was the end of that year. And I said, okay, let me get my coins together and go on vacation. So I went on vacation, and I didn't want to come back. I went to Los Cabos.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
And I said, I can live here. Mm-hmm. And that's when my soul said, yes, you can. You can do it. And I started researching more, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And I didn't tell anybody. See, that's the trick to it all. Don't talk about your dreams to everybody, because they will smash it. They will tell you the cartel's going to come get you. This is what happened to my friend. This, and I'm like, this is happening in the United States. What you talking about? So it's kind of like the trafficking is happening here in the United States, y'all.
You just don't know about it because the media refuses to talk about it unless they involve some other country.
And I said, oh my God, I'm like, okay, Tia, you got to do something. So I came back, and I got in touch with my HR friend at work, and she said, this is what you do, sis. And I said, okay, tell me what to do. So we were sitting down, getting it all together. And I said, okay, my exit plan, I had my exit date, October 4th, 2023.
Did she have some HR tips that could be generally used?
Yes.
Because I know one of the things is a lot of big companies have like a sabbatical thing, a mental health leave, and all of that that you can take advantage of.
Yes. And I'm at one of the biggest hospitals in, country,
Chicago.
Universities. Yeah.
Okay.
So she had all the details and what to do. And she said, talk to your doctor. I said, okay. I had my doctor on board. My doctor was like, what I need to sign? Okay. And when you have a Black doctor, when you have Black physicians, there's no question. They already know. So you don't have to really explain yourself.
Exactly.
Whatever. So I did the work. I made a goal to save up $100,000 to live on, however long I can, to rest. That was the goal, to rest, just rest for a bit, not to work. And I did that. I've been gone since October 2023. I left. Officially, it's really 2024 of last year, April, because I used up all my time. I used up all my sick vacation time. I exhausted everything. Every short-term disability, I went boom, boom, boom. I kept going so they can pay for my insurance. I went through it all. I did it all.
And how much time did you get with all of your banked time and benefits?
Almost, I think it was 8 months.
Okay. You see, folks?
I think it was 8 months.
And in 8 months, you can figure out how to live, right? Like, because if living in Chicago costs just to live like a normal human being, let's just say $80,000 a year as a single person, then living in Merida, Mexico, where you live, a single person can live fine on $3,000 a month, on $2,500 a month in Merida, Mexico. So y'all, if you can figure out how to take advantage, those of you who are at large corporations, how to take advantage of all of the benefits that they offer, 8 months is a good amount of time to figure out how you're going to come up with $36,000 a year.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you're in healthcare, I choose not to go back to school. I ain't one of them that want to keep getting a degree. I'm like, I'm done. I was done. I was like, I'm smart enough. I know everything. And if they are not going to hire me, then whatever. Because they train you on the job anyway. Doesn't matter. So exactly. I was done. Yeah. And so you could do a sabbatical if you're going back to school, because I worked at a university. So they really honored if you wanted to write a book or you wanted to do something, you as a nurse or whatever, you getting your PA, whatever, you could take that time off.
Yeah.
And and you're good.
So check it out, without giving any hints. on what your plans are. Check out what your benefits are at your job, because there, I know so many of us who don't pay attention to all of the benefits when we're at these large corporations, and we miss out on so much. And case in point, that I've told you guys is that, you know, and we saw it every single year when it was time to renew the benefits, the $3 a paycheck or whatever for legal help, just in case, right? And it's like, I ain't never gonna get arrested. I don't need that, right? But not thinking about, estate planning, wills, all of the civil stuff that that we could do for free.
Yeah.
Oh, free.
And you know, white people have been using it since the beginning of time. Like we've always been like, I don't want to use my time. You know, I want to show that I'm working hard. And
we're here.
Oh, okay.
Rick's going to the bathroom, y'all.
Okay. And you know, you just don't want to show that you need some time off because you're scared that they're going to fire you.
Punish
right? Are you scared that they're going to judge you for the time that you need and you deserve? You earned the time off.
Exactly.
Use your time. And for my people, I had, you know, some direct reports. I had about 30 so reports. And, you know, we worked it out. I wouldn't tell anybody anything. I'd just be like, who passed away? I'm like, take the time off. Oh, you only get a week to, you know, or 3 days for bereavement. I'm like, take some time off. Use your vacation time. You know, we're so inhumane here.
Truly. It never ceases to amaze me the level of inhumanity in the United States that we have put up with, and that so many Black folks fight to keep in place.
Yeah.
I'm a little older than you are. And
no,
one of my favorite songs, is from Roberta Flack from back in the day. And she's like, basically, I'm paraphrasing, it never astounds me about man's inhumanity to man.
Oh,
and right. And that's where we're at.
Yes. When you as a country that's supposedly wealthy will take away U.S. aid as our humanitarian, we give that money knowingly. We know that we are helping others in the world that are less fortunate, people that are living in squalor, that is living in garbage. It's a different, our poor is different than that type of poor. And we understood the assignment as human citizens. We know that we need to take care of one another. This is what we're here for. And that's why the dissension is happening. The polarity is here, is because they did that on purpose. Because once you are a community and once you are in alignment with one another, there's power in numbers. They know that. Keep you busy, keep you distracted, keep you consumed, keep you forgetting that your family is important, your friends, and being in community and playing spades like we used to, get together, doing potlucks, and you know, the old days where our family understood the assignment. They understood, like, if I have it, you have it.
Exactly. If I'm eating, you eating. Don't worry about it, baby. I got you. Right?
Don't worry about it. I got you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I got the kids. You know, you need to go handle business. I got them. You know, like sisters had each other back then like that. And I saw that with my aunties. I've always seen that with my aunties. They would take me and my sister and my brother, and my mother had to go do something. And that's how our family got so tight, is because we grew up together, you know. So, did y'all freeze on me?
You could have gone on talking, healing girl.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was like reading. I was reading.
The chat. All right,
Yeah, somebody said something about Mexico. Can I ask, are there any concerns about, did she say the cartel?
Let's see. Did they put a Q in front of it?
Yeah,
Susie
I
Q.
saw that and I was like,
What
whoa.
would the cartel want with you? Serious question. Oh yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Nothing.
you mind your business. Mind your
Right?
business. That's just
They
like in
want,
Chicago.
right? They want from you what the mafia wants from you. You will have as much
Nothing.
contact as with the cartel as the average American has with the mafia. We know the mafia exists. We know
Yeah.
it's there. We know they're operating behind the scenes, but we are not involved in mafia business. That's not our business.
You mind your business. That's all.
Right?
That's all you do. I live in Chicago. Okay, Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
We have our share of gangs here. Okay, and I don't see them, and they don't see me. They stay in their area. I stay in my area. Don't cross over here. I have no business. I have no
Right?
business. And if I can live in Chicago, I most definitely can live in Mexico. The United States have some of the most
Dangerous. And
dangerous,
here, right? Like
and the
here's the
cartel
thing.
is here. The cartel is here as well.
Right.
Of course they are. Of course they are.
They're on our
Because
behind.
we're their customer. Well, I
Yeah.
ain't, but the Americans are their
Americans are the
customers.
biggest consumer of drugs.
Exactly. And so with this fake Puritan crap, I like anybody who has been watching Our Black Utopia for a while know what the deal is, and that is the majority of the major cities in Mexico that an American would be interested to live in are safer than the majority of major cities in the United States. Period. The end. They just are. They are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so if if you've got our ready to retire toolkit, then you've got access to the databases that we use that check on safety and all of that. If you have the Move Abroad toolkit, all of that is in the description below. Then you have access to the databases that we use that show safety factors in basically every major city around the globe. And there it is. There it is. That, I mean, like that, facts are facts. They're not alternative facts. And the fact is, it is safer in most Mexican cities than it is in the United States.
Yeah, I mean, Merida, I have to say the healing that I feel there is unmatched. I was going there because my connection was to meet the lawyer there. I went through the RNE program. If everybody's hearing about that, it's kind of over for certain people, but God, I mean, I'm so glad that I listened to my gut
and did the thing.
So said, go.
The RNE program that she is referring to is where you do not have to prove financial solvency.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've been to Mexico in a certain amount of time and then go back, there's some little tricks that you have to do, some loopholes that you have to do to qualify. But once you meet those standards, because for some people, it is the money that holds them back. Mexico keeps raising the amount of money that they consider solvency,
right?
Whether it's temporary or whether it is permanent. So y'all, get your Mexican residency today. Do not wait. I don't care if Mexico's not on your list. Because when they start rounding up people, do you want someplace to go to or not?
Yeah, that's our border.
Off the streets. They are snatching people off of the streets and disappearing them. And when the federal judge said, if you don't bring them folks back right now, I'm gonna whoop your behind. They're like, well, try it. Try it. That's what they said. We are in a constitutional crisis as we speak right now. Democracy is falling in America as we speak right now. Y'all, wake up.
We're at war.
We are at war. start, wake up. Do not hesitate. So
it's a different type of war. And
not pew pew war.
Right. It's a new war. When you have someone, gaslighting you, telling you didn't see what you saw, you didn't hear what you heard.
It was a love fest, not an insurrection.
You didn't feel what you felt. Like when you got someone gaslighting you, telling you that you really didn't experience what you experienced, and that you should take that, and the signal thing, the signal gate, whatever that was happening, that ain't really was. Okay. You gaslighting people.
Yeah, that wasn't war plans. Those were action plans.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
Right? Yeah, and they're lying because the reason why they're doing that is so that they don't have to have accountability to the American people. That's why they're doing that, because those messages disappear. But Signal has them on their servers. You stupid pieces of crap. Signal has them. And when they ask for that information, when the federal government asks for that information, Signal's go turn it over. You guys are so stupid. You don't but we got Elon on it.
Yeah, okay.
How did that work out?
And they're talking on Twitter. Right. And they're talking back and forth on Twitter, saying that, the president should stop the process of allowing U.S. citizens passports. That was on Tabitha Speaks. I don't know if you guys saw that yesterday. That kind of threw me off. I was shook. I couldn't believe that is even a possibility, that they would say, we don't want our American people leaving the border, and we don't want people coming in the border. We want our money to stay here. It was only a matter of time. Yeah.
Anything's a possibility if they give him the power to do it.
Yeah.
He's going to take the power, right? Like, he wasn't given the power to round up a bunch of folks, a bunch of human souls, and send them to purgatory, right? Like, he took it and then said, what you going to do about it?
Right.
You ain't the boss of me. Just like a little
and that's a constitutional crisis there, when he's not listening to our, judicial system at all.
That's right. So we are currently in a constitutional crisis, and we will see if the democracy can stand, because as it looks right now, it looks shaky. So you were talking, you were going to ask something.
I want to see him defy the orders of the Supreme Court. That's what I want to see.
We'll see.
Because that's what I think a lot of people thinks. It's the last line of defense.
It is the last line of defense.
It is. Because he got the other, a lot.
Roberts and new home chick, Amy, I'm not calling them Judge so-and-so. They don't deserve all of that. They have fallen down on the job too. But lately, Roberts and Amy grew a little bit of a conscience. I guess they don't want to be in the history books looking like the people who ruined the globe for 10 to 15 years.
Right.
And Dogecoins is now below. So speaking of Robinhood, somebody was in the comments talking about Robinhood, investing on Robinhood. Sweethearts, we don't suggest that you invest through Robinhood. It's not that cheats or anything like that. It's just that their analytics and everything else are not substantial enough for sophisticated investors. And even if you're not a sophisticated investor today, you will be tomorrow. So just don't even do it. And you want to go to a full service place. This is, they tried to gamify investing, and investing is not a game.
Yeah. I go to, I'm through Schwab.
Yeah. Schwab, Fidelity, maybe Vanguard, but
stick to CIA as well. Yeah.
Right. Stick to the tried and true. But anyway, you were talking about healing. You were talking about healing in Mexico. Tell us about that and the process.
Man, getting connected to the ocean is like no other. When you buy some water, like I am an air sign, so water grounds me. So I'm a lot of fire and air. So water grounds me for me. everybody have their own healing journey and what works for them. But I am a person that loves to walk, love to be out in nature. I love to ground myself. And that's what we're being asked to do, is get a spiritual practice going for ourselves. I'll get back to that. But we need to, when I get near water, it just seems like my whole nervous system balances off. It's kind of like it balances itself. And I get grounded that way. And so when I went there for my residency, I realized, there's something different in the air. There's something different in the air. It is. And I don't know how to describe it. If anybody live in Merida or live in Mexico and you're out of this, it's something about the US. And it could be because our ancestors were tortured here. It could be the trauma that we carry. But for some reason, my body felt so relaxed. That was the first time I felt like my shoulders weren't up here.
Right.
And I was able to meditate. I didn't have to worry about the people. Like I didn't feel like I was on guard, because it's something about being around white people. I don't trust them. So it's kind of like this, like I have a invisible wall or something up, because I don't know what they're about to say to me. I don't know how they're going to come to me. So you're always in a defense mode. I've always felt that way. But when I was in Merida, it was like people were approaching me and just like, hi, like they were like lit up. Like, I want to get to know you. Like, who are you? And they thought I was Cuban. So they would start talking to me. But
not Puerto Rican, Cuban. Huh?
Nope, they thought I was Cuban. They sent me, I was very golden when I got there. I was there for a month, so I got real gold. And they were sending me drinks and wanting to dance salsa and all this stuff. And I was doing it too. And I let my hair down, and I felt so good. I didn't want to go home. And I knew then I was like, this is my place.
Yep.
This is my space. I want to go somewhere else to try it out, but I'm scared too, because I'm like, I don't fell in love with Merida.
I think we are where we're supposed to be at that moment, right? That doesn't mean that's your forever place. I don't know that Lisbon, Portugal is our forever place, right?
Yeah.
The EU is asking everybody to have go bags.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting.
Because of Trump, because they are concerned that Putin is going to move forward and try to take more of Europe. And so, it was announced maybe 4 days ago or maybe a week ago, something like that.
Oh, the go bags are the...
Why would you
emergency bags?
Emergency preparedness. I put it as a go bag, because he said, make sure you have
rations, like food or whatever.
Not only that, your passport, some cash, things like that, is what the Portuguese president was saying.
Why would you need a go bag there? What are they talking about nuclear?
No,
Putin invading.
Oh.
Thanks, Trump. Thanks, Melon. Thank you. You happy? Good.
I am so done.
You lose every single penny of all of your money. You and Elon, all your money gone. Bye, boy, bye.
Well, there is a reckoning to be had. I mean,
there's going to be a reckoning.
There's a reckoning. Look, because they have to pay their karma.
Right? Like evil, y'all, it does not last. It does not survive. It is always conquered. Yep. Now, might not be tomorrow. They might get away with a lot of shit, but it will happen. It will
karma
happen. I want to see a perp walk. I want to see that MFing perp walk. I don't want nobody to take him out. I want him to be under the jail. I want to see mug shots. I want to see him going like this and being mad because he can't. And I want to see him bending over in the shower trying to get some soap. That's what I want to see. I'm
Ooh,
That ain't gonna happen. It's
that's
not
an
gonna happen.
ugly sight, Halisi. Ew.
He has
But
caused so much. Yeah, I don't want to think about that part. He has
yeah.
caused so much harm on basically this one human, if he is human, is causing harm on just about every single human being on the planet.
Yes, he has. It's trauma.
On the planet.
Emotional trauma.
Right. And so this whole notion of, being this Marvel comic book villain, why are we putting up with this? Why are we obeying in advance? I remember one of our subscribers, when she came here, telling me that we need to tone it down. We need to be careful. They might come
Yeah.
after you. You might be on a list. That's obeying in advance.
We're
That's
not
how,
fearful.
no, that is how autocracies happen. That's how fascism happens. I will
Exactly.
not shut up. I will not sit down. I will not hide. I'm going to call out evil when I see it. I'm a child of God. Like, I'm going to call out that evil.
We're
Because there's
not
no,
fearful.
like, why would I want to live in a world run by evil? If you're going to take me out, well, take me out.
Exactly. I'm not worried about mine. I'm
Because
not worried.
I'll be back.
I'm trying not to be back. I don't want to come back here.
I'm trying not to either.
I don't want to come back here. But you know what? If it's changed, and I think our children are the next generation because they're not standing for this anyway. They're a whole different breed of people. They're not going to do the 9 to 5. My nieces and nephews, I got 33 nieces and nephews. They are not doing this. They were like, we are refusing to live our lives at 65.
As slaves.
This is our babies. They're like,
Yeah.
They're like, TT, we are going where you're going. When you get there, let us know. I'm like,
oh, I love it. I love it because my youngest is still talking about, I think I'm going to stay and fight a little bit longer. I'm like,
no, these babies coming out different. They're ready. And I think it's time for our government officials retire. It's time for them to go. They made their money on our backs. And it's time for our new generation to step up and step forward and move us into a new era. And then we can truly heal here. But until then, it's time for us as a community to work on ourselves and work on our family and focus and prepare. And if you notice our fascist government right now, they are trying to take control of everything. So they're trying to get control of what you see,
that's right,
what you hear, and the last step is to take control of what you think.
Yeah, and what you read,
and what you read, and they are. Once they got that, game is over. Game over. So we can't let them do that. Yeah, we can't let them do that. So it's very important for you guys to remember that Halisi and Rick have a newsletter or whatever email list they have. Get on that email list, because if they tear this channel down or tear any of our Black channels down, we need to be able to reach out and connect with one another. Seriously. That's our Underground Railroad, is our email list.
Exactly. Because before we were in physical locations and they bombed us and they, torched the houses and they came in and murdered and killed, right? We know the stories. We know the story of Black Wall Street and Rosewood. Of course, those are the two most famous, but there's tons and tons and tons of others that basically replicate that same thing. And so now, how do they do it? They bomb us in other ways, right? They silence voices. Y'all. And so if you believe that the information that we are imparting every single week without fail, please smash that like button and subscribe and consider donating to our channel. Now, all of our super thanks, super chat money goes to our scholarship fund. That's not some money that we keep. But you know, we can't do this without y'all. So tell me, we're going to get to the questions, but I have one last question, and then we'll answer y'all's questions.
Okay, and I'm laughing at the comments over here.
Look, our community, look.
Thanks, OJ.
As an empath.
Ooh, she said, we're not the Negroes of old.
We're not. We're not.
Okay, sis.
I don't think they really realize who we are, and they don't realize. If they really realized who we were, who we are, two things would be different. They would not be afraid of retribution, but they would be afraid of not honoring us.
Right.
Because it's bigger than what we see in the physical.
Right.
And so, as an empath, how do you navigate your sensitivity in a new environment? Merida, right? Like you have figured out how to navigate that in American Chicago, right? But now you've moved yourself to a new environment. How does that work? And tell us about, like, are all of us empathic? How does that work?
All of us have gifts. We're all psychic. We're all intuitive. We just lost it. We disconnected. We disconnected from our ancestors and God. We have disconnected. And because we're a loving people, we're not violent. We have never been. And that's not what we are. Because if we were, they would have been dead here. We would have took them out right after slavery. Because what would we have to lose right after slavery? Nothing, because we had nothing, right? We could have just been like, poof. You know, this is for what you did to us. You know, we could have.
And there were so many more of us than them.
Right. So we are not that kind of people. We are a loving people. And it's time for us to get back to that space and reattach to what we know is true. And that is our heart space and our intuition, our solar plexus, which is our gut, our intuition, what keeps us safe, and start listening to what your body and your soul is telling you. Quit ignoring it, because we always second guess ourselves. And that's because of our society and how they conditioned us to always question our gut.
Because that's that Western stuff, because they are so disconnected from the source, right?
Yes.
The further they moved away from the motherland, the more disconnected they got.
Yes.
Yes, she is, OJ.
Thanks, OJ. I was like laughing in the
Yes.
Yeah, remember, I'll be dating around the world, y'all. So
hey. Follow her.
I can finally date now. I don't have to work. like work like that. So but
yeah, they are so disconnected from the source.
They're very disconnected. Very. And you can see it. You can see the disconnect. And we have soul like that. That is the one thing about us. We can feel when someone's angry. We can feel the love of someone. We know when someone likes us. That is energy right there. I mean, we're all empathic. We're all intuitive. We all have psychic gifts. And what I was told was that we are going to start waking up and experiencing our awakenings at different times. So just be prepared. I mean, I'm a lucid dreamer. I have my clairs. I'm clair sentient. I'm clair cognizant. So I get downloads a lot. I get them when they want me to have them. I'm not clairvoyant, and I'm not clairaudient yet. I ask them to do it slowly. I am not trying to see dead people or anything yet. So I ask for those abilities slowly. So if you want to talk to your spirit guides, all of you got spirit guides, you can talk to them and ask to meet them. They will be in your dreams, and you'll know it's them. You'll be like, oh, that's okay. So there's a lot of people, oh, it's woo woo and all this other. Listen, I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. Buddha. All of them are real. They're all real people. And God is real. So I think that all of us, we just have to be open to what's coming for us. Unfortunately, religion has it hasn't done us it hasn't done us any good. No. It turned into something, and it's a beautiful space. I mean, that is a space that we're supposed to come together to commune and worship together, but it turned into
a
business, money. And
I worked at the church too.
Unfortunately, that's what I saw as the first lady, and
that's what I saw as a staff member too.
Yeah, it was all about the money, how many people we can get. It wasn't about healing. Church, I thought, was about healing. I thought it was about.
They say it is, and they'll get in the pulpit and say that, and then act differently.
It's not. There are some. I can't say all, but you have to find them. You got to really find them, and then when you find them, they're in the dirt. They're like bare minimum, because that's not what they're about.
Right.
They're about the people, and you have to really open your eyes and see what your pastor, what is your leader saying. We give them too much power.
Yes,
we give our power away. And you are powerful. You are powerful. You manifest. Giving them money is not going to change anything in your life. It's not. It comes from you.
Yeah, exactly.
You're the co-creator of your life. You are the co-creator of your life. And the bad thing, and what they have made us think, was that we are to pray everything away. Prayer is wonderful.
Because that's what Massa wanted us to do. Massa didn't want us to take action. Massa wanted us just to pray. And then we will get our rewards in the afterlife. But don't expect no rewards today. Don't expect no rewards in the physical to manifest today.
Yes.
Because then you might get beside yourself.
Exactly.
See? All these people are praying to white baby Jesus. I don't know who white baby Jesus is. I ain't about white baby Jesus. Because my God,
Jesus is not white.
My God, right? Of course he's not. It's all in the word.
He's Middle Eastern.
My God, like my God is about love. I don't know about y'all's. My God does not disappear people. My God does not say because that person was born differently, they are less than. That's my God.
Yeah.
The God that they pray to, the God that tells them to take up arms and to enslave Black people, the God that they pray to that says, let's take, people with dark skin and hang them up by ropes and castrate them and cut out babies and do all of this other nonsense, evil, while their children watch. You want to talk about generational trauma.
Yeah.
The generational trauma that they have put on themselves by their own actions, not that was caused to them, but that they decided to enact.
Right. Yep. And that's
I don't know. I truly don't know. And I don't mean to be offensive, y'all, but I've got to say this because I did a lot to prepare for today. I don't know if you can call yourself human if you relish the idea of hanging up other human beings by ropes from trees and then having a picnic afterwards with the kids and the babies and the this and the that after church.
Right.
And you say you are a human being. That is not humanity. That is not humanness. And so when you're praying, instead of praying your way out of this, you might need to be praying for them because
the thing is this, it's in the spiritual community of people that meditate and everything, prayer is the ask. That is what you're asking for. Meditation is the answer. That's when you're quiet and you're listening and you connect to yourself, because the truth is in here. You already know the answer. Yep. You already know the answer. You don't look for validation from anyone else but you. It's already there. So asking for permission, he would tell you, quit asking for permission. You already got it in you. You have the power to do anything you want.
That's right.
You manifest it, you speak it, and let it go, release it and surrender it, and you got it. And it'll come when it's supposed to come. Not meaning to preach, but this is what I know is true. So me surrendering myself over, I was scared. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, ooh, because you're so used to having control over everything. But you have to trust that everything is working for the good for you.
That's right.
You gotta trust it. And you gotta know that you have it within you to get it. We come from the dirt, y'all. For the way we got here is amazing. Look at how many years it took us to get where we are. It's amazing what Black people can do with barely anything.
Very little, right? We are walking, talking miracles.
We are amazing. Our ancestors are happy.
It's truly. Like if you believe in the creation story and you say that we are all created in God's image, well, the first humans. So some were created in God's image, and then the other ones were created in our image.
Right. But if you think about it, if you look at Africa and look at all the different countries, in Africa, you will see that we have some tribes that look Chinese. We got some tribes.
Yeah. I remember.
China came from us too.
Like I was about to say, it seems to me I remember reading. Now I don't know if this is still true because this was in the earlier days of DNA, but that Chinese people had the closest DNA to African people, which I found fascinating. But if you look at how human beings migrated back, tens of thousands of years ago, it makes sense because that's the next natural place that they would have gone, the way the continents were connected back in those days. All right, let's get to some questions. We have been talking. We can keep going. We could look when we were preparing for this. I think we might have talked for 3 hours. When we heal, we will heal and push the transformation needed in ourselves to bring the others. Yes, Greta. Greta is into metaphysical and has been on that journey for a while as well. And I knew
I will see Greta. Is that Greta Cobb that's in Merida? Hey, girl. Yes. Hey, I'm gonna be looking for you.
Imagine the Black people who were forced to build the government buildings across this land. Right? Especially the original 13 that are in DC. Do you think they would not have preferred a one-way ticket? Get the hell out of there.
And that's why they're telling us to go ahead and do what we got to do. They made the way for us to do this. Quit trying to get back into the fight. Like, why fight? You had a choice.
I know that, what was her name? Mother Teresa. Was very controversial. For those of us who grew up Catholic, she wasn't controversial at all. She was Mother Teresa. But she was a kind of a colonizer too. But the one thing that she said was interesting is that she didn't want to join any anti-protests, anti-war, fight for this, fight for that, fight. Let's be pro something. Invite me to a pro-peace protest. I will come to that. And so, because words are powerful, right? Let's go back to Christianity.
Yeah.
What does the Bible say? Right?
Yeah.
In Genesis, God said, and there was. And
Mm-hmm.
if we are created in the image of God, and if God said, and it was, then when we say, it too is done.
Yes, it is done. Always. And that's where
Watch
your
our
I
language.
am. Yeah, your I am, you are. And that's where our intuition comes from, that solar plexus right here. It's your powerhouse. And when you say I am, that's God. I am.
Yes.
I am powerful. I am abundance.
Yes.
When you speak the I am into your existence, it is. So it is. Right? So we have to get in the mindset, the transitioning of speaking positively about ourselves and about one another. Because one thing I know, if you listen to the music of people, of any people, it'll tell you the state of that people.
Oh, yes.
So we have to be mindful of the music we listen to, of what we allow to be said about us, and what we're allowing men to say about women and women about men. We have to be very careful because we have allowed the world to pit us against each other, especially in our music as well. And it shows. And when you can have some young men called Jasmine Crockett, a BITCH, on YouTube, that's disturbing.
Call her ratchet, call her ghetto,
that's our
all
leadership.
of that stuff is
Right. That's leadership, and showing disrespect. If you disagree with her, that's fine. You disagree, but don't put her down for stating facts.
And the other thing that was lost upon them is the reason why they're calling her ghetto is because she will code switch back and forth. We all know code switching. And what she is doing is saying, we're tired of code switching. This is who I am. And when I feel like talking like I'm from Texas, that's what I'm going to do. Somebody slap me and wake me the hell up because I'm in the upside down world. This is a nightmare. Like, that's how we talk. And to denigrate that just shows how brainwashed you are by white supremacy. That's all you're doing. That is all you're doing. And how do I know? Because I've been there. I remember when Trayvon Martin's attorney, Crump, when Crump first came out, I didn't say anything out loud because I wasn't that stupid. But I was thinking in my mind, couldn't they have gotten somebody a little bit more sophisticated than that? And then I had to listen to myself.
And check yourself.
I'm like, how is an accent a lack of intelligence?
That has nothing to do with it.
I had to check myself.
Yep.
Y'all, we should always be growing, right, Greta? We should always be growing. We are all mirrors of each other. We heal our thoughts, our words, our lives will receive the transformation. Those that who have an ear have heard or will be hearing. Others repeat until they hear the call to live differently. And some never do, unfortunately. Some will never hear, y'all. You've got to let some people are going to be left behind, and you have to be okay with that because
it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. Every one of us is not getting on the boat.
Right. That's always been.
It's always been
that way. Right? That was the way with the Underground Railroad, right?
Right.
When she had to have her gun with her to make sure, like, look, I will kill you. We getting up out of here. If you are the slave that's gonna keep us from moving forward, like,
all skinfolk and kinfolk.
Exactly. Some people will get left behind, and that's how their journey is not yours.
Greta's talking about resting. She's talking about whenever a white friend asks me what to do, I tell them, Google it.
Google is your friend.
Google this shit. Why are you asking me to do more work? How can I be a better ally? Google it. Ask ChatGPT. Don't ask me to do more work.
I can't find it.
Don't ask me to do more work. Haven't we done enough work?
Not here, please. Who?
Okay, I don't know what this is. and I don't know who Tony is.
She must have been talking to somebody.
I guess she was talking to somebody. I don't know why there was a queue in front of it.
Is protecting the bag. We all have done it.
Yeah, but the kids are not doing it so much anymore. Can I ask
No,
if there
no,
are
that's
any
over. That was
concerns?
our
We
generation.
talked
Okay, we
about
talked.
that.
We talked about that. Black people have been programmed so hard to show how hard they are working so their bosses can believe that they are decent, hard workers. You're a different type of Negro. You're not like those other ones. How many
Yeah.
times, like, I can't tell you how many times I've had white people say that to me. And my response is always the same. Yeah, actually, I am typical. You just don't know
Mm-hmm.
enough of us. I
No.
am not a unicorn. I am pretty
Yeah.
typical. Oh, and
I'm
by the
not a
way, Michelle and Barack Obama are pretty typical too. Like, they're super duper intelligent, but I know 30, 40, 50 others who are just as intelligent.
Absolutely. They are not a monolith.
They are not.
And I've seen them in person, and trust me, they are just as normal and down to earth as everybody else.
I've told this story before, but when I
They
met
just shine.
Michelle,
They just shine when they need to.
they do, and they were the people that we needed at that time.
Yeah.
I've been privileged enough to meet both of them on multiple occasions. And the last time I met Michelle Obama, there was a small group of us that were invited to take pictures. I still ain't got my picture. If you watching from Denver, I want my picture with my first lady. But anyway,
is she watching?
Not her, but the person who took the pictures, the professional photographer for the party. So I said to her, I was like, thank you for everything, the sacrifices that you and the president have made for us. We really, really appreciate it. We realize, like, your daughters got taken out of normalcy and put in front of the spotlight and all of that. And I just appreciate it. I want you to know you inspired me to run for office. And she said, I'm sorry.
Oh.
That's what she said to me. I was like, "Ooh, what do you know that I don't know?" Oh, I found out. I found out real quick. Black people have been programmed so hard to show. Okay, we just read that one. God speaks to you while you are asleep with instructions for your life. That's called dreams. And I'm going to tell you, I dream. I dream when I wake up and remember it verbatim. 9 times out of 10, it's going to come true.
Mm-hmm.
And not only is it going to come true, I'm going to remember when I dreamt it. I'm going to remember when I told Rick, oh, I had a weird dream. I dreamt blah, 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 whoop-de-woo. And then a year, 2, 3 years later, it'll happen. And I'll say, remember when I told you? And of course, he's not going to remember.
Yeah. I have lucid dreams. Like, I have past life dreams, all kind of different types of dreams. I had a dream last year, right before the election, of an old bank with the columns, those old beautiful banks, and money was just pouring out of the windows and the doors and just pouring out. And I'm like, what does that mean? I had no idea. No idea.
You will.
Mm-hmm.
You will.
So
I always say money just flows to me.
Yeah, and it was just, and I was overwhelmed because I was like, where is that coming from? And it was just like, and I was like, okay, don't know what the heck that means. I just went back to sleep. But it's your dreams. A lot of times, if you allow it to, it could be a warning. It could be letting you know, a answer to whatever you prayed for. So keep a journal by your bed and write down your dreams, because a lot of people forget it. Like, for real, you walk away and then 10 minutes later you don't forgot the details. It's gone. Yeah.
I have a journal by my bed. The voodoo curse, white coat. The doctors bet on you believing you and not listening to your body. Yeah.
That's true.
Some of these Western doctors, I swear, I have to say, though, I've been going through a battery of tests here in Portugal, y'all. And I mean, this is just in preparation for my physical. I have been prodded and poked and everything. I've had like 4 or 5 tests that no one has ever even mentioned in the United States. And they're like, oh, this is compulsory.
What?
I had an EKG and then some other Doppler thing. They put all these things on me and tested and looked at my stuff and then took the sonogram thing and, you know,
No, you
smashed the
literally
girls
gotta be
around and
almost
everything.
dead here. You almost gotta
Right?
be dead.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had 2 sonograms on different parts of my body, EKGs, all of that stuff, y'all. All of that stuff. And I bet you at the end of the day, when I get the bills, because I walked out of the hospital or the doctor's office without paying a dime, that part,
That
it's probably not going to come to more than about 65 bucks, 65 euro, maybe 70 bucks.
wow. That's some of our co-pays and
Exactly. Life is better outside of the United States. We need you to take action today. The first thing, anybody who is watching us right now, we want you, after this is over, to go online and start applying for your passport if you don't have one. All right? Period, the end. And all of you who have passports, I want you to get residency in Mexico, get residency in Panama, get residency in Costa Rica. Those 3 countries do not make you stay in country like Portugal does. Like Portugal, we have to be here 8 months out of 24 months.
Right.
If you're not ready to move, at least get that residency, and then you can go there on your vacation until your money is straight.
Right.
But consider the lower cost of living, and it might be easier to get your money straight there than it is in the United States.
And when you get to Mexico, all I have to say is, I talk to people from different, parts of Mexico, and the Mexicans say, don't be afraid to get into community with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because what you will find is having them be your front person in a way. You don't get the gringo prices. I'm blessed. I would have, one day the girl didn't know, she was selling mangoes or whatever. She charged me $5, right? And I didn't think anything of it because it was fresh and it was right there. It was like, okay, shoot, a mango $5, and it was good. And so when I went back to the ocean, and I had some friends or whatever, and she came back through again, and he said something to the effect like, "This my girl, blah 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 blah," and she was like, "Oh, from now on, it's $250 for you."
That's the expat tax that we talk about. And that's why when you first move to a place, you've got to have, like we're saying, we live on $2,700 a month. That's now. After we learned where to shop, where to go, who has the good prices, all of that stuff that you don't know when you first move to a place.
Yeah.
Now, thankfully, here in Western Europe, 99% of the time the prices are going to be listed. So you don't get those kind of things happening. But you might add a cart. You might add, like a street vendor. You might get that. But you still don't know where to shop, because if you're thinking like an American, then you think go big box. That's where you're going to get the cheapest
Don't
prices.
go to Costco. Don't go to all of those. Go to the local corner, places, markets that they go to. And that's when you'll find, the real price. And I'm telling you, it's a different world. And if you're looking for apartments and stuff, get a friend that's Mexican and have them do the conversation, because once they find the price out and all the other stuff, then you can get involved, because once they give the price, it's the price now, right? Because if they hear your American accent, they're already going to be like, oh, she got money. And don't give them your budget. Don't ever say, oh, I can spend up to $1,000. No, don't say a word. Just ask them, how much is it?
Right. And then you can negotiate. See, and that's another thing outside of the United States, because like when apartment is rented in, listed in the United States, the thought of like negotiating. What do you mean negotiate? I mean, sometimes like if you're renting directly from the owner, a condo or a house, But here we negotiated.
Yeah.
And then once I got him to the price that we wanted, then I said, and can we sign a 3-year lease?
Yeah.
Right. So Michelle's
lock it in.
Lock that in.
Lock it
The stock
in.
market, regarding the stock market, it seems like global index funds that are not US centric are the way to go. More than few experienced investors speak on how they are pulling back from the S&P 500. Yes, Michelle. And we're going to do a video on that. I know we talked about it during the BRICS conversation, but we're gonna revisit that, and maybe next week. They were truly afraid of actual retribution before, because the indoctrination was so complete. Yeah, look, people always accuse you of stuff that they would do themselves. That's what that's about. It's not about indoctrination. They're just evil. They're just evil, okay? Because they sat there and they watched other human beings being tortured and they didn't say a word. They're evil.
Right.
And
well,
so
just like we have right now, wasn't there a nurse that was breaking our babies' arms and legs in the I think it was in NICU. The babies were just in the nursery. They were just born, and they just arrested a nurse for breaking arms and legs of newborn Black babies.
Ooh.
Yeah. So when you're dealing with people like that, I mean, how are you going to convince them of anything? That's diabolical.
Evil. Like if you want, if you want to talk about who's Satan, that's Satan right there.
Right just like Stephanie said, projection. Yeah, they're projecting their hate on you.
Oh yeah, people always accuse people of doing stuff that they would do themselves. Blue Sky, WhatsApp, email should be our go-to contacts. Europe will block via tariffs, Facebook, Google, Amazon, and there was one more that I've forgotten. I don't know. I don't know if Europe will do that. And where did you see that, CK? I could see why you would say that, because it does make logical sense. But they seem to be a little bit more strategic than that. Now, one reason to block Facebook is because stupid
Zuckerberg
perm guy who's now wearing rapper chains with his goofy behind has decided that, yeah, it's good to have misinformation on my platform so we can continue to topple governments. It should be against the law to have that much money. It should be against the law. It used to be.
There should be a cap. I mean,
it used to be.
Point where, I mean, yeah, back in the, what was it?
Even in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, like at that, when you have that much money, you get taxed at 80 to 90% back in the day.
Right. And that's how we were able to build wealth here. Exactly. And we had a middle class. That's how our parents and, they were able to get it going for us. And we'll never see that again. There's only so many dollars in the world.
Right.
and you can only have a certain amount of pants, houses, this, like, how much is enough? Shega, for goodness sake. I wonder what Morgan Freeman is thinking about all this shit now. The guy who says racism will go away if we just stop talking about it. Look, Morgan Freeman got canceled in my world.
Yeah, he did.
Just like Bill Cosby did. And
wasn't he God?
Yeah. And any other privileged Black person who's been in the entertainment industry all of their lives. He was on Sesame Street or the Electric Company, for goodness sakes, back in the 60s. That man has been in front of the camera since the 1960s. He has no idea what normal people deal with.
Well, that's
no.
So he needs to just sit down and shut up somewhere.
That's the problem. We give celebrities too much power.
Yes.
We give them too much power and think they know everything because he played God. He played a pimp too. So enjoy him. Enjoy entertainers for what they give, for their talents. But other than that, no.
They're just people.
They can't run your household for you. They can't run your life for you. But we get so wrapped up into that. Oh, he said this. Please.
Right? Well, that's
know better than that.
God. Rick, keep playing God.
And folks say, "Oh, he's God." It's like, no, he's just an actor. And has made many, many mistakes in his life.
Oh my goodness!
Don't know about it, and that was one of them. That was one of them. Brother man did not know what the HE double toothpicks he was talking about. Because if that were the case, racism would have been gone a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because we weren't talking about it in the 70s. We weren't talking about it in the 80s. Older Gen X dropped the ball. That's me. Younger boomers dropped the ball. We dropped the ball because we could have kept moving it forward, but we got comfortable.
Well,
and we
you get
weren't talking
comfortable.
about it. And we
Well,
weren't
you
talking
get
about it.
comfortable. And
Right,
that's normal,
exactly.
though. That is okay. Because now the correction is about to happen. And we're about to get it corrected. That's all.
We're about to get it corrected. I apologize to the young people. I did. I said, I'm sorry.
Your apology is enough.
I thought we wouldn't have to fight the same fights, but I should have known better. As a student of history, I should have known better, because every progress in America, and maybe the world, I haven't studied the world history enough, is followed by backlash from the evil ones.
Right? Yeah, it was too soon to let up. It's, you needed a little bit more fight in. And but who would think like that, right? We're not evil people. See, that's what I keep trying to. We are not diabolical like that. That's not in our DNA. So we don't think that that's possible, that somebody could be so evil and not see what value we bring, that they can continue on that path. It's unreal.
Right. So evil that they will, cut off their nose to spite their face. They are destroying your nervous system by poisoning you with content that will disrupt your system till you are unable to function. Heal your nervous system. Turn the TV off. Y'all.
Yeah.
Turn the TV off.
It's emotional welfare. That's what it is at its best. They knew coming in what to do. They attacked every part of our chakra base. We have 3 chakras, which are our core, and those are developed in our childhood. They went against our security. They attacked everything about our security. When you rip somebody's job, which we thought was the most secure jobs in the nation, which is the federal workers.
A GUBMET government.
When you do that to a people, that shakes up the foundation. You're like, well, then what is secure, right? People getting laid off. Your foundation is getting ripped up. You're attacking women. Our sacral chakra, which is our reproductive rights, our creativity, our womb, the LGBTQ, our brothers and sisters there, and our trans people, attacking them. When you start attacking the base core of our chakras and our power, gaslighting us and telling us our intuition that you didn't see what you saw, that they are attacking our core, our emotional core. Yes. And they're playing with us, and they're trying to make us fearful. That they're trying to put us in a space of fear, so that just like how COVID happened, we will agree to anything just so that we can feel security. That's what they're trying to do. And we have to understand, as a people, this is what's going on. It's a spiritual warfare and emotional warfare all in one. They're trying. The dark is trying to attack the light, and it's a fight. They're going to lose, but we don't know when, and it's going to take time. So it's up to us to just chill out, let it play out, because they have to do this, not us. It's not our fight.
Exactly. And yes, Angelia, it is possible that for once in your lifetime, your skin color can be in your favor. Yes. Like when I show up at the border trying to exit, would the other country be more receptive? So what I found in Mexico, I'm going to talk about Mexico for a second, since that's what we've mainly been talking about, is that they know the difference between us and the colonizers. Like, they understand that we're gringos because we're not Mexican and we're not Latino necessarily. Some Black Latinos are, but we're not, right? So they know that part, right? They still are consider us gringos, but they know the difference, and they know how we have been treated, and they've said it. Okay, so yes, And then here in in Portugal, the hierarchy, yes, there's racism here. Yes, there is racism here. Oh my gosh, y'all are so generous, and I will highlight you in a second. There's racism everywhere. Anti-blackness is global, and anti-Black American is global, even on our precious continent of Africa, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's everywhere, but it's a difference.
And
Yes.
I have never felt safer. I have never felt more seen.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes just like left alone.
I know. This is what I love.
No one cares what we are doing. No one is trying to police us.
Right. Leave me alone.
Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone.
I want to live my life just like you do, in peace and quiet.
Thank you.
That's all I'm asking. And I think the problem is that they don't want to share. It's an equal, and they don't want equality, and that's what it all boils down. I want to be better than you. I want to say that I am above you. I want to have power over you. Yeah. I just don't want you to be equal to me.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm superior.
I thank God that I have no idea what it feels like to know that how you move through the world is immoral.
Mm-hmm.
Your belief system is immoral.
Mm-hmm.
And you know deep down inside that it is. You know, like they know.
Absolutely.
They do. And so they are in a perpetual state of cognitive dissonance where what they know deep in their reptilian part to be true,
that's Elon.
And then what they choose to believe and act on because it makes them feel good in the moment.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is they have bought into the zero-sum game, and it's not. There's no zero-sum game. There's enough for everyone. There's enough for all of us. And I'm wondering, like, if the power structures, if the oligarchs, because we've always had them, if they had decided to truly lift up everyone, and the average white folk, because this is not the case, had decent amount of money to live and feel secure and stuff like that, would they be as angry and evil as they are now? I have no idea, and we may never know.
I think they'll want they'll be envious of what we're doing, because we always be doing something.
Everybody wants to get next to the magic. I grew up hearing my dad used to always say, everybody wants to get next to the magic. They hate us because they ain't us.
We're always having fun. They want to see what we laughing, and because we loud, we are different. We are expressive. So when we see each other, we're loud. We're screaming. We're like So they want to know what's all the commotion about. And
didn't we approach you? Didn't we approach you? How you gonna be smiling and having fun and dancing and stuff?
Exactly. They want to be by us. So they want to see. They want to be all up in our business. But that's what happens when you have the light. You are
exactly. Exactly. And I want all of you who are watching to walk in that light. I want you to receive that, receive it, and then live it. Right? So Greta, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you for this. I can't tell if it's a super chat or a super sticker. But thank you. All of our donations, and we told you guys, goes to our scholarship fund for Beyond the Bling. That is our financial independence program. Okay, it is a program for late bloomers like us. Everything that we learned to go from negative 22,000 to over 1.1 million in net worth is in that course. Okay, and if we can do it,
you can do it too.
That is beautiful.
Dennis, thank you.
So
Learn to pimp the system and set a precedent for my time. Companies I've worked for knew I traveled and take a minimum of 10 days per trip. I heard that. Never had a problem. Also used work to extend my travels by visiting offices too. Oh, there you go. Oh, I'm gonna be checking out the London office, and yeah, so I'm gonna be going for an extra week. I love it. I love it.
Well, that's because he wasn't shucking and driving. They knew they couldn't get away from with Dennis. They probably was like,
right,
just give him what he wants.
right, right. Dennis, you are so generous. Thank you. African Americans need to take advantage of this Black Swan event to buy securities if you have the money. Yes. Working in asset management, I see how the 1% get richer. Yes, they buy the dip. Okay.
Yep.
And that's why Warren Buffett sold off so much stuff last year, because he was getting ready for this so that he would have cash to be able to rebuy those same stock at a discount. Right?
I do what he does.
Yeah.
I always do what he does.
Just like that. When he moves, we move. Just like that.
Because he's the one. He got it. He knows.
And not only that, you guys, and one of the other reasons why I listen to him is because he is one of those ones who says, you know, billionaire, this is too much money.
Yeah,
and you don't need that much money. And I think he and somebody else, I think it was a Microsoft dude, are the ones that came up with the billionaires actually giving away 80% of their wealth.
Yeah, it was.
But you know what? He is one of the ones that live in a regular home. He's been living in
regular
this home for a long time. Regular car. And he was the one that brought up my secretary pays the same taxes as I do.
She pays more in taxes than he does.
Well, yeah.
He said that's a shame.
Yeah, per dollar earned. Per dollar
and that
earned.
right there is a travesty.
It is. And so why poor white people continue to support the oligarchy is beyond me, but whatever. Are you seeing the super chat button to donate? I'm not seeing it today. Okay, well, you found it. Thank you, Greta. This week, I met a 31-year-old African-American female trying to navigate the place. I supported her by fixing dinner, in Merida. And we gave each other a conversation. I recognized her brilliance and told her so. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And that's what we do, right? That's what we do because we are in community. All right, y'all. We have been talking for 2 hours. This is what we need. We need you after this to go over to the Healing Girl YouTube channel and subscribe. But do not subscribe if you are not into what we are talking about. It does not help folks to subscribe and then not watch, okay? So if you're not sure, go over there and watch what she's got up so far. She's very new, okay? We had
very new.
I think very new. We had the Side Hustle Challenge, we ended about a month ago now. Mm-hmm. So why don't you say one more time what your experience was and why other folks should consider it?
Oh my God. I just love them. They're like my family forever. But anyway, I have to say that it was such a good experience because you have an idea. You think you have an idea of what you want to do. Sometimes you need someone else to take a look at it, from outside of you, because it's almost like your baby in a way. You kind of get connected to the idea. And to have someone tease out the idea for you to say, maybe this, and the feedback is phenomenal. Like the time taken to go through all of the work that we had to do. And if you do it, you really need to do the work. Like, don't get in there and like half-ass it. Go in and do it. And you will get the most beneficial feedback ever. Real feedback that you need to be successful. And they hold your hand to a certain point, but you have to do the work. If you don't want it, it ain't gonna happen, right? Because it's scary. I ain't gonna lie. Pushing that record button, I don't know how they do it, but my butt, I don't know why I get nervous, but it's like talking to who? I'm not saying, so I have to act like I'm talking to my cousins, like girls chatting. So they teased it out of me, and it was the push I needed. And Rick and Halisi as a team, they are a godsend. I mean, they're godsend. And what they do is God's work. So I just have to say they're a blessing. They are. And when you say our Black Utopia, that was God's name given to you guys too, because this is a beautiful space. This is a wonderful space.
And I have to agree with you on that, because we've owned or whatever the URL Our Black Utopia since 2016, and we didn't launch until 2022. And so, yeah, I do believe that God knows. God knows.
Yeah. He puts you in the right space and say, okay,
Mhm.
this is it. You know, and like I said, he closed them doors on me. Like, girl, say what? Boom, boom, boom. Like, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. And I'm pushing back because I want to have control. And I don't know what's ahead. I don't know what's ahead, but he's like, you're asking for this. I'm trying to put you in the space. Would you please let go?
Sit your black ass down.
Exactly. Okay, we're going to end right there. I set it down.
Right?
I set down.
So, all right, y'all. I'm sure you still have more questions. If you have questions about Merida, Mexico, obviously you can ask Tia. You got to go over to her channel, ask her in her comments. I've never been to Merida. We have Mexican residency, but we've never been to Merida. So we ain't the ones. But if you have questions about how to move abroad, if you have questions about how to get your money straight, or any other questions that you have, we do have one-on-one coaching. That information is in the description below. And I just have to tell you, because you said something, Tia, that reminded me, Our Black Utopia, the name God gave to us, but it was Stephanie Perry who actually helped me figure out the angle, because we were doing something completely different. And it was just a one-on-one call, and she asked me a question. I was like, is that a big deal? She's like, are you kidding me? Is that a big deal? That's a huge deal. And it was the negative 22,000 to one point, what at the time was to 800,000 in net worth. How did you do that? And I was like, that's big. Oh, that's the angle. That's the angle. So I say that to say, folks, that everyone could use a coach.
Yep.
Everyone could use a coach. Take the shortcut and don't expect to get everything for free. Don't expect to get everything for free. All right. And with that, we love y'all.
Love you.
Yep.
We love you all. Check out Tia's YouTube channel. All right. And we will see you on Thursday. We'll see you on Thursday. And I think, yes, because it's almost 11 o'clock here. I think we might be answering questions on Thursday from commenters. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Love you guys.
All right. Bye. Take care, everybody.